Hello and assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to another episode of Third Culture Heart with Amal. And today we actually have a special guest here with us.
Hi, I'm Amber.
Welcome! So Amber, do you want to introduce yourself to those who are listening to you for the first time?
Well, Amal and I have been friends for a little more than a year now. Yeah, we randomly met at our friends, mutual friends party, and we just clicked. And we love just talking about self-growth, emotions, just living our most fulfilling lives. And I love that about you, that we're able to just get together and just be ourselves. Yeah. And I think it's so cool to have someone that you can be yourself with.
And that's how I feel about you.
Oh, that's so nice.
I remember the first time I met you, I didn't want to go to that event. And I just showed up, and sometimes I feel like destiny has a big part to play in that, because I think the universe knew how much I needed you at that time. I think there was a lot going on in my life, and in our first meeting, I remember us being super vulnerable and having really deep conversations, which is not usually how I go about this, and you're the same way.
Me too.
But we had that but we had that instant connection, and I think it was just meant to be. And ever since then, you and your partner and your sister have been there for me in ways I didn't even know I needed you guys. So thank you for that.
I'm so glad we met. This kind of reminds me of something else we talked about we were talking about saying yes to things when we want to say no. How that can change our life, because both of us wanted to say no that day. And our mutual friend, both texted us.
Yeah.
She was Destiny herself.
She was like, are you guys coming? That made me feel guilty.
I was like, okay, I'll show up.
Yeah.
But actually though, both of us could have said no.
Yeah.
And our lives would have been completely different.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And so that's been something I've been trying to work on, is just being mindful of what I was told in childhood that makes me say no. Things like, no one wants you around, no one cares about you, no one cares what you say, it'll be better if you're not there, would be maybe some things. But I would have missed out on a beautiful friendship and a big part of my life now.
Yeah.
And if I didn't say yes.
Yeah.
And so
I don't know, that this is what we were discussing even before recording this, is just how can adults say these awful things to these tiny human beings who are literally, the adults are responsible for raising them and shaping them into the person that they become, and to say harsh things like that, it just breaks my heart for the little Amber.
It makes me sad that messages like that we get in childhood makes us just not be able to be our full self sometimes as adults.
Yeah.
And everyone deserves to have a life where they can feel fulfilled, where they can grow to their best potential. And it's so sad when people are put in a position where we get childhood messages. I think everyone to an extent gets these childhood messages that can limit who they are as adults. And we have to do all this work to undo it. And that's what we're talking about here. So welcome.
But you have to be willing to do the work, because these people are just living life on autopilot, and that's their coping mechanism. Because probably it's too much for them to go back and relive those past traumas while they're trying to figure it all out.
And it's hard.
It's so hard.
It's hard work. And I thought about that a lot working through trauma. I'm a lot of times I'll think, wow, I know why people don't do this work. And that might not sound very encouraging. It really is something that I appreciate about anyone who's wanting to start doing work around their traumas, around their childhood, because it's such powerful work. And you feel a lot of pain, but the pain is something that creates so much joy in your life.
I think not just not just pain. I think you actually start experiencing all the emotions fully. When you're on autopilot, you are just trying to shove your emotions down, not try to think about them or not trying to feel them. Whereas once you start doing the self-work, which is really hard, you start fully feeling all emotions, and that's everything, from true joy to true sadness.
I feel like it's this is what I've thought of before. When you're in more of your trauma world, when you're not in your healing world, it's you're frozen, and the pain you're feeling is the thawing. When you go outside on a really cold day and your hands go numb, because for me, I'd be shoveling the snow. Hands go numb, your feet go numb, everything goes numb. And when you go inside into the warmth that's comforting, it's painful. Your hands are in pain, your feet are in pain as they come back to life, and that from what was numb, but now it's you have full functioning fingers now.
Then you start feeling everything slowly.
And then it's comforting because you were in the cold that was painful, but now you're in the warmth, and maybe maybe you have some hot cocoa. I don't know.
I love that. So maybe I think the message then is we're inviting people to the warmth.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the message,
and that's what we're trying to do. Because I think sometimes you convince yourself it's oh, I like the cold.
But you don't. You're freezing and you're numb and your fingers are turning blue. You don't like the cold.
Well, maybe you don't even know. For me, it's I think I only knew the cold, and I didn't even know there was a warm place with hot cocoa and a fire.
Oh, that's interesting. You didn't even know that was a possibility.
No, I didn't didn't know it existed.
Wow.
And so then you just know cold. And so then you go into the warm room with the fire and you're in pain. You're like, what's wrong with this?
Yeah.
I hate this place. But then it's like, then you realize you're like, wait, there's a nice like fuzzy blanket over here. Yeah. And there's a nice bowl of soup. I'm creating a whole world, right?
And we're living in it.
We're living in it.
I love it.
But actually though, and then you realize, I think for me, when I first started working through childhood trauma, it felt unsafe to be healing. It felt unsafe to be there because I didn't.
Why?
I think it felt like when you grow into patterns and coping mechanisms from childhood trauma, it like feels familiar. And I think most people feel most safe, or at least perceive safe, when things are familiar. Even if they keep us stuck. It's something we at least know, even if we're being hurt. You feel like you're in control.
Yeah.
And so I think moving into a world where I'm pushing myself to be a better version of myself, because I want to live a happier life. I want to live with who I am. I want to find who I am. It's like terrain I haven't walked on before. And so it's a nicer place, but I have to learn that it is. And I have to trust that as I keep walking down the path, it's not going to go into like a treacherous, terrible place.
And your experience then gives you the confidence that it's going to a better place than what you were used to. When you start doing the work, then little things help you gain that confidence. So like you take one step, it feels uncomfortable, but then the long-term outcome is good. And I think your mind and body, they're taking notes that, okay, this thing didn't feel good in the moment, but in the long run, it's good for me. Like going to the gym. Like even now when I'm running in the moment, I'm like, why am I doing this? But afterwards, it makes you feel better.
Yeah, and then you feel stronger, and maybe you don't even realize that you feel like that you've made so much progress until you do something and you're like, wait, I don't know, maybe you're lifting a weight and you're like, this didn't feel this light before.
Like I'm a one-trip grocery girl, so I get all my things from the car in one trip. And previously, it used to be a challenge, and I would be breathless on the stairs.
Oh no!
Now I don't feel like breathless, and I can just carry stuff, and it doesn't feel as heavy. So yeah, I do notice difference, but as I'm saying, it's like a very slow process, and like you'll notice the difference in like maybe a few months. So just like that, I think that's how doing any work with, any mental health work, that's how it usually is. So tell me something. What are some things that you want to say yes to now that you have had this shift in perspective?
That's a good question. Well, I think the first one, and we were talking about this, is agreeing to be on this podcast right now.
Tell our listeners more about that.
Well, I was talking about how there were two sides of me. There was the no part, because I was so anxious that I was going to say something stupid, or no one cares what I say, like I don't matter, just all these things I learned when I was younger that was driving my decision to want to say no, because it's so much more comfortable. Like right now, I think my palms are sweating. I was like, I don't want to be comfortable out of fear, because what does that bring me? When it's like we could have great conversations and we can grow, hopefully anyone listening grow into something. I don't know. I hope you guys can resonate with something, because like I don't know, I think that speaking is so powerful, even if it's just like to one person. When you're someone who's gone through life and something in your life where you felt like you were silenced, then I feel like speaking is one of your most powerful healing tools. And I don't know, that's just how I feel.
No, speaking is very powerful, and not just because as you were saying that, I was thinking not just like to people, even your self-talk. It defines and shapes who you are. And that's, as you were saying, that's usually based on the childhood messages that we hear from the adults around us, which then become our inner self-talk, and that defines the quality of life that you live. I think there's so many things that people can take away from this, and I hope that they do. I think the first thing, which is definitely in all of our control, is having better self-talk. Really dig deep. Like when you're, I mentioned this in one of my previous episodes too, like when you're looking in the mirror and you hear a negative comment, try to understand, where is this coming from? Is this actually my voice, or is this something that I was fed while growing up? And if it's something that you were fed while growing up, well, first of all, I'm sorry that you went through that, because no kid should. And secondly, let's work on the healing then. Let's change that inner voice. I think the second big key takeaway is what you were saying yes to things. Do you want to expand upon that?
I think so I have an example of this too. You were saying like you see yourself in the mirror and you say things that you heard in childhood. I had that experience this week.
Oh yeah.
And I just I was saying such mean things to myself while seeing myself, and I know the way I was seeing myself was not the way that people who love me would see myself. And it's so hard when you have that awareness and you're still hearing it in your head. And I think that it made me feel isolatory. It made me want to become smaller because I didn't want to be seen. And the antidote to that was to be like, no, I'm going to go see these people I said that I would. I'm going to make myself seen, even though I might feel ashamed of who I think I am or how I look. And I felt better after.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I had people, I felt better after. I was like, oh, dang it. It actually worked. You actually.
But yeah, sometimes we do get in that part of our brain where we start listening to that inner critic. Our inner critic is so harsh, you wouldn't even talk to a friend the way that inner critic talks to you sometimes.
That's what I think with my sister.
Yeah.
I have a sister who people say we look alike. And every time I'm saying something mean to myself in my head, I'm like, you would have to say that to your sister.
Ooh.
And she's a younger sister too. And so I feel like a big sister. I have that responsibility
yeah.
and that protectiveness. And it's like, I wouldn't want her saying those same things to herself. And I would never say that to her.
Yeah.
And so who am I to say that to myself? And so that helps me a little bit. It's different for everyone. You have to try different things.
Yeah.
And I'm still finding what works for me. It's been a long journey. I'm like, I've been doing this for a while, and I'm still not perfect. I don't know.
I don't think
it's
anyone
ever
is.
perfect.
I don't think anyone is.
I think it's like, it's always going to be work to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
But I think the more you do it, the more motivated you feel to keep
Doing
trying.
it.
It's kind
Yeah.
of like what you said with like, now you can lift the groceries up
Yeah.
the stairs.
Yeah.
Where it's like at first it might not have felt as motivating to be in the gym, but when you see the growth, you're like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Like it does pay off, even though at first you might not know if it does.
And you have to be very patient with it.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning of the process, you have to blindly trust the process without seeing the results,
Exactly.
which is so counterintuitive because your mind doesn't work that way. It's like, okay, then show me the results first, but you can't.
You have to trust that something's going to
Yeah.
happen. Something that I was told too was that like if I was doing something that wasn't good for me, let's say even like every morning I look at myself and I say, I don't like this part of my body, then every day for a week I have to say something nice instead. And the thing is, if at the end of that week I was like, that was terrible, I hate it, you can always go back to hating yourself again. You can always go back. Like it's still there.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, that's what I always.
But you
was
can at
told.
least try it.
You can at least try.
Yeah. If
And,
it works, it works.
like you're not going to lose what you had before, but hopefully you don't have to go there because
It feels better.
I don't want to live a life where I don't like who I am. You know?
Yeah, I was asking you. So anything that you're gonna start saying yes to now? Do you have any specific ideas in mind? Like, I want to say yes to talking to more random people because that's how I made like my closest friends.
Just talk to random people.
Just talk to random people.
No, actually, though, I think that's something I wanted to say yes to also. And that's something I was saying to you where I think that it's so fun being able to acknowledge something about someone that you think is really like cool or admirable. My example was you see someone with really cool shoes and you might feel nervous. It's like, I don't want to say that. Like, that's weird. They're going to think I'm a weirdo and creepy and all that stuff. But I've been trying to say yes more to complimenting people. I think it's so cool. People always light up. I don't think I've had a bad experience yet.
And it has a butterfly effect. So like it makes them happy and in return it makes you happy because now you've just made someone smile. I don't know if butterfly effect is the correct term, but is it though? I can't.
I think it's part of the term.
I guess.
I don't know.
My English is not English
I'm never going on
today.
technical definitions.
Hey,
It's
English
at
is
least
my
hard.
third language.
That's
so,
impressive.
Yeah.
It's my first language and I don't even know.
Any parting words for our listeners who have tuned in today?
I guess a challenge for myself and maybe for anyone listening, if you want to, is maybe finding one thing to say yes to, even if it's small. And if like you don't feel like you can say yes to it, if that's too scary, maybe even thinking, why am I saying no? It's a big step even to just take 1 second to see why your instinct said no.
But yeah, once you understand that, then maybe, your healing journey, I think, begins there. And then you can start saying yes to new experiences. Every time I talk to you, it's such a wonderful experience. And I've said this to you a million times, but I'm going to say it once more. I think every time we have a conversation, I feel like I leave that conversation knowing more than I did when I stepped in. So I think you help me become more emotionally aware and you have so much wisdom on so many topics. And that's another thing. Like I have this whole amber list it's an amber list because like there's so many things I want to talk to you about and I would want you to share your wisdom with our listeners on those topics. So
that's so nice.
Yeah.
I feel the same about you.
Thank you.
You're so wise, and it's really cool that you said yes to making a podcast.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining me. I had such a great time today with you, as always. To those who are listening, I hope you guys have a friend like Amber with whom you feel comfortable and safe and can truly be yourself.
See you later.
See you later.
I don't know. Be back later.
We sounded so sassy. All right. Take care, guys. See you guys later. Bye.